Good morning, Shay and Blackbird students, or afternoon. So this morning, Mr. Fairbanks went on a walk through the woods and took a book with him. And my dog, Isabel, is around here somewhere, so we might see her come to visit us in a little bit. But I brought a book along in honor of her called Dog Breath, The Horrible Trouble with Halitosis. So we'll see what the horrible trouble with halitosis is. There once was a dog named Hallie who lived with the Tosis family. Halitosis was a very good dog, but she had a big problem. Halitosis had horrible breath. Whenever Halitosis opened her mouth, horrible things happened. What are some of the horrible things you see? When the children took halitosis for a walk, everyone else walked on the other side of the street. Even skunks avoided halitosis. But the real trouble started one day when Gramatosis stopped by for a cup of tea, and Hallie jumped up to say hello. Mr. and Mrs. Tosis were not amused. Something has to be done about that smelly dog, they said. The next day, Mr. and Mrs. Tosis decided to find a new home for Hallie. The children knew that the only way they could save their dog was to get rid of her bad breath. So they took Halitosis to the top of a mountain that had a breathtaking view. They hoped that the breathtaking view would take Hallie's breath away, but it didn't. Next, the children took Halitosis to a very exciting movie. They hoped that all the excitement would leave Hallie breathless. What are some other breathtaking or breathless things they could do? But the breathless movie didn't work either. Finally, the children took Halitosis to a carnival. They hoped that Hallie would lose her breath on the speedy roller coaster. Uh-oh. But that idea stunk too. The plans to change Hallie's bad breath had failed. Now, only a miracle could save Halitosis. Sadly, the three friends said goodnight, unaware that a miracle was just on the horizon. Ooh, I want you to think in your head, what could the miracle be? Later that night, when everyone was sound asleep, two sneaky burglars crept into the Tosis house. The two burglars tiptoed through the dark and quiet rooms, when suddenly they came upon Halitosis. "Yikes!" whispered one burglar. "That's a big, mean, scary dog." "Ah, don't be silly," whispered the other burglar. "That's only a cute little fuzzy puppy." The two burglars giggled at the sight of such a friendly little dog. "That dog couldn't hurt a fly," whispered one burglar. "Come here, Poochie Poochie." So Halitosis came over and gave the burglars a nice big kiss. Slurp. The next morning, the Tosis family awoke to find two burglars passed out cold in the living room. This is a miracle. The Tosis family got a big reward for turning in the crooks, and soon Halitosis was the most famous crime-fighting dog in the county. In the end, Mr. and Mrs. Tosis changed their minds about finding a new home for Hallie. They decided to keep their wonderful watchdog after all. Just because life without halitosis didn't make any sense. So our book today was The Horrible Trouble with Halitosis, Dog Breath. And it was by Dave Pelkey. So I did not realize that the author of Dog Breath also wrote some books I've seen quite a few of our kids reading, because he is the creator of the Dogman series. So I know a lot of us have read the Dogman series, so this is the same author from that series. I hope everybody's doing well, staying healthy, and not having cabin fever. Hopefully you guys are getting outside for some exercise. And one cool thing that we can do in our area is when we're out in the woods, if we keep an eye out on our walks, sometimes you can find antler sheds or deer sheds. So this is when a buck in the winter will start to shed his horns because he doesn't need them anymore. And then when the snow melts, you can start to find them. So with all the rain that we had and all the snow that melted, if you keep an eye out when you're out on your walks, sometimes you can find some pretty cool things, like some deer antlers that are laying. Sometimes they look like sticks, or they might be down in the leaves, so you have to keep a good eye out. But if you're out on your walk like Mr. Fairbanks was today, sometimes you can find some pretty cool stuff. So, I hope that you guys enjoyed our story today. I hope everybody's being well, practicing social distancing, and making sure that we are safe. I miss you guys. I hope to see you guys pretty soon. See you tomorrow for our next book.